Let's do this.
It's time for Hanging with Langan.
I like that she's got a big dirty mouth that gets her in trouble.
Wow.
Stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time.
Hey, you guys, it's Maureen Langan. You're Hanging with Langan. How are you? Ding, ding, ding. My official Hanging with Langan bell. Great show in store for you today. 3 comedy friends of mine. We're all coming out of the dark. We're going to talk pandemic, political correctness, politics. What's the future look like? Because people aren't very funny these days. The comics are, but you people aren't. All right. You know what's the best thing about summer? Not this. Not this. All right. So you know the deal is I don't want to hate people. They make me hate them, right? Like I start out loving everyone. It's what you do that causes me to hate you. Like Mike Burton, the comic. You'll meet him in a minute. Show up 10 minutes early. Let's do a tech check. And his mic doesn't work. Nothing works. I have to call him on the phone. I mean, it's all a big mess. But I like him. I used to love him, but he's now been denigrated to like. So I want to, if you're watching this, please share. That's what I ask of you. Please share this. Let your friends know. That's all you have to do is hit the share button below. The cool thing about today is Maureen Langan has finally learned another rung on the technological ladder, and I will be sharing a link that will allow you to weigh in with audio or video if you were one of the chosen. And of course, your comments. We'll still have your comments in the comment bar. So I'm excited about that. But I was a journalist for years before I started sharing my comedic gifts. And the journalist in me is enraged. So we're talking about this retired 3-star general, Michael Flynn, who was a national security advisor for Donald Trump. So he was speaking in Texas in front of a QAnon group, because that's what you do. You go in front of a conspiracy theory group of people and you talk, and that's what you do. You field questions from these people. So one man got up and asked General Flynn if we could be more like Mini-Mar, like Mini-Mart, Walmart, Mini-Mar, Malomar bars, Mini-Mar. The name of the country is Myanmar. Even I have a hard time saying that. I'm not judging the guy, so I still call it Burma. As far as I'm concerned, it's Burma, because that's easier for me to say. So here's the deal. Flynn said he doesn't understand why we can't be more like Myanmar, Burma. Yeah, why can't we? Why can't we be like a regime that the military comes in and overtakes the democratically elected government and then shoots people in the street? Why can't we be more like that? What the hell is wrong with you people who are getting behind this mental stuff? Like, it's absolute insanity. Like, you are not even chipping away. You're like sledgehammering away like democracy. That's what we live in America. We are so friggin' lucky. I hated that Hillary Clinton to get elected. I mourned, I cried, I moaned. I hated every second of her not being elected. Yes, but I knew she wasn't elected. That's why I was hurt. That's why I was sad. That's why I was in pain, because she did not get elected. See, Maureen Langan acknowledged did not get elected. Guys got to wake up. You can hate it. It can suck, but wake the frig up. And those of you who don't like Biden, no problem. Just give your money back. Give your pandemic relief money back. That's all I ask of you. And another thing, stop looking down at waiters and waitresses who aren't going back to work when all these rich freaks took as much money as they could. They took all their PP loans or PPP, whatever, the P loans, so that they could pay their staff. They didn't pay their staff. They pay themselves. They call themselves employees and they pay themselves. Stand by. I'm thirsty. So that's my little rant for today. Don't make me hate you. You know what? Myanmar, Burma, they jail the press. So every time you say, don't trust the media, you're saying that people like myself and my friends and the work we did over the years, that we should be jailed. That's what you're saying. Don't make me hate you. By the way, the Don't Make Me Hate You t-shirts are available at maureenlangan.com. I have a whole brand new website, so I'd love you to check it out. It's all about corporate hosting, keynote speaking, and comedy, of course. But a big shout out to my friend Randy Thomas. She sent me the mannequin. Remember, I opened the box and there's a mannequin, and I'm like, what's happening? What the hell's going on? Who sent me a naked, headless mannequin? But she said, Maureen, you had your shirt on a hanger, a wire hanger. And I guess she says no wire hangers ever. So she sent me a mannequin. It's insane, but I love it. Big thank you to Allison Steiger, Jeannie Edmonds, Sue Zidek, and Chris. I got to get your last name, Chris, for supporting me on Patreon. I really appreciate it. Big for you. All right, so you guys, here's the deal. Good evening. Yes, Charlotte. Hello, Dana. Myanmar. I don't care how you say Myanmar, Myanmar. I call it Burma. I'm not, the fact that guy thought it was Myanmar, I don't care. I care about what he wants our country to be like, Myanmar, Myanmar, Burma. So, I know, we're going to get into politics. Oh, boy. Eddie Clark, Nancy. All right, here we go, you guys. Focus, Langan, focus. We'll take your comments later. So my 3 friends, I'm going to bring them one at a time on air, and you'll have a wonderful introduction. First, let me play a clip of my first guest. I'm going to bring them all in together, but here we go. This fellow, I had the pleasure of working with him in the lovely Poconos of Pennsylvania, where we laughed hysterically. I don't think we've been on one other gig since in 20 years. That was in Atlantic City a year ago before the pandemic. His mic didn't work. He wasn't ready. He didn't prepare. He didn't do checks before he came on, but I'll show you a clip of him because he's funny.
My wife helps me on stuff that I don't want help on at all. Right? Like, I don't like winter. Like, I hate winter. Like, I'm originally from North Carolina, and like, look, right now, you guys are having beautiful weather, and thank you for doing that, okay? I love it. Like, I hate winter so much, I'm for global warming. I am voting for it, marching for it. I might start buying people SUVs. I don't care. Ladies, start using hairspray again. No ozone. That's our goal. You know what's nice? 70 degrees in February. That's nice. And see, there's people with me, but there's always a couple of crunchy granolas sitting around. Crunchy granolas sitting there thinking, but the polar ice caps are going to melt and we're all going to flood. No, we're not. We're not all going to flood. We're only losing Rhode Island, Long Island, and Jersey. Bye-bye. Here's a canoe. Get to safety. But I don't like winter. Like, it's a risk. Like, look, I fly out here. Like, I've driven places, like, during the winter, and it's a risk. Like, you don't know what they do. Like, I don't know, like, snow plow and all that kind of stuff. I was traveling one time, and I was, like, there was a snowstorm, right? I had to go from one town to the other town on the same night, and there's a snowstorm, right? On a normal, regular day, it takes, like, 45 minutes, okay? But now I'm in this snowstorm, all right? And it's up in the mountains, okay? Like, it's, you know mountain people? You know mountain people? Like, I stop for gas. The guy's like, you want to fill it up? I'm like, back it up, Earl. You're scaring me, okay? He was that kind of big guy. Like, you know mountain guys, when they get so big, they can't walk normal. Like, they have to walk with their hands out front, which is just a weird look. Like, don't you walk with your hand, like, side, right? Like, you don't march, but you... Like, you walk, right? That's just a look that says, I got bodies in the basement, I like biscuits!
Who doesn't like biscuits? Welcome to Hanging with Langan, Mike Burton.
Hi, how are you?
You tried to sabotage me, but I have returned to love. How are you?
I'm good. I will tell you that as far as my technical expertise lacks, not only did it take me forever to figure out the microphone and speakers and stuff on this, I'm using one of those ring lights to hold up my phone for the camera because the camera's better on that. And every now and then it'll just droop over.
Okay, bye, Mike. Okay, our next guest is...
I
have power. No, I'm glad you're here. We're going to talk about the comedy world coming out of the dark. I want to bring on our next comic. And then, Mike, you are one of my favorite people. You know that. At least for the time being. All right, so my next guest, I'm going to save Nancy for last, but this is Jeff Applebaum. What I want you to know about Jeff, he sent me a Zoom link, what he did on Zoom, because this is what people have had to do during this pandemic. And here we go.
It was in a parking lot in Santa Cruz, so we had to apologize to all the drug dealers we interrupted. And the way the show worked is that people would drive up and they had an FM transmitter. So as we performed, they would broadcast the act to the cars, would listen on the radio. And if they liked your act, they would blink their headlights on and off. So my goal was 4 dead batteries, you know. So. And one guy, you know, I think he had a broken headlight. I couldn't tell if he was trying to signal me to get off stage or he liked it. I couldn't tell. But that doesn't matter because tonight, my friends here, we're going to party like it's 2019, right? When you now, I don't know about you guys in San Diego here, but to me, I still think Kanye West won the election. That was what I thought happened. But I got to tell you, I almost voted for the Libertarian candidate because if you noticed, did you know, I'm looking at the gallery here. Did you notice that his running mate was a guy named Spike Cohen? Did you see that?
No.
Hannah, any relation? No relation to Hannah, right? You have a cousin Spike or something. So and I said, I'm voting for this guy because anytime I could support a volleyball player from Israel, I'm all when he's not selling when he's not selling Dead Sea skin products at the mall. Camille, your face. I will make you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Applebaum.
Oh my God, thank you. That was all manufactured. Thank you, Maureen. That was nothing. The audience was fake, totally made up. And that was yesterday.
Oh, it's so insane doing the Zoom shows, and we're going to talk about that too.
That's why I brought it up as a transition for your talk show.
You know that from my little chat show.
Yes.
That sounded better than every Zoom show that I did.
Right, because I got lights and look at my back. That's it. That's what the engineering degree does.
Come over here, help me out. If you're watching this, I want you to share, you guys. We're going to talk with 3 of my comedy friends about coming out of the dark, politics, pandemic, political.
How about just coming out? No, I'm kidding.
That's up to you. We already assumed. But hi, Christine. Hi, Billy Bingo. Hi, Eddie Clark. So you guys, a lot of you are already weighing in. I sent a link because I want to see if people want to make comments or or add something to the show or ask a question. But we're not going to get you for a while, so just chill like a villain. Now, this next woman I want to introduce you to, Nancy Lombardo. Nancy is interesting because I don't see Nancy because she's not just she's a stand-up comic, but she's more than that. She's an actress. She's an improviser. Nancy beats to her own drummer, and I find her to be so unique. You have to watch this clip. It's so funny. It's so insane in the best way.
Oh, yeah, LA's a jammed up situation. I have enough faults I wouldn't purposely build my home over one. The one time I was naive enough to think that generic food was for the elderly. It made sense to me at the time. All those big black and white labels. Tuna, spaghetti, Duffy. And then a friend pointed out, Nancy, there's a difference between generic and geriatric. Boy, did I feel foolish not to be confused with nuts. But I do think they have a lot to do with each other, since men said to do a lot of thinking from that area. What all this has to do with nothing is, don't you know, how my brain works and connects things like so. So anytime you think I'm crazy, you're probably right.
My God, the neighborhood dogs are all outside. Ladies and gentlemen, Nancy Lombardo.
Awesome, Nancy.
Wow. Well done.
That is so insane. No, thank you guys for being here. I'm really glad you could, because here's the deal. So much is going on. We're finally coming out of the dark, right? How many gigs do you have set on your rosters, Mike? Anything?
My June is pretty good, and then things get very sporadic. July through September.
Forever.
I just booked a gig in October, so the career lasts till then.
Good. And what about you, Jeff Applebaum?
My next gig is in 2025. No, I have several online events coming up in the next few weeks, and then from July and August, the things start getting on the calendar. But the bigger corporate events are still staying more Zoom and virtual.
Yeah.
And as far as clubs, there's a few clubs that are open and some are waiting to be at 100%. But you have out here in California, you got wineries and things that are nice and opening up. The Comedy Uncorked in September, I'll be back there, which I know you've done too. They're nice.
That's in the wine country.
Yeah, in Livermore. Yep.
And what about you, Nancy? What do you have on the books?
Always something going on. I have
I
have my radio show. I have my cable TV show. I just finished a book, and I just did a gig. First one in a year, 45 minutes for bridal party. So that was interesting.
Yeah, and I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to talk about what you want to promote. But, this is the deal. I revamped my website, and I'm shamelessly plugging this because it's maureenlangan.com. But it's all about, I've done so much corporate hosting and moderating. So I want to plug into the corporate world more because the comedy clubs, I hate bragging, but don't make me hate you. The comedy world, I was working with my web dude, and he said, Maureen, on your calendar page, we were uploading the new website. He goes, I'm just waiting for you to give me all your dates. I'm like, that's it. Those are the dates. That's what I got. He goes, but there's only 2 here. Oh, sorry. There's 4 now. I have June 10th at the Comic Strip in New York City. Thank you, Ellen Karras. August 6th at Bedford Playhouse. Thank you, Sean, Eli, Ellie. And New Year's Eve. And then October 30th in Wisconsin, in Akanakawaka, Wisconsin.
Beautiful place this time of year. Yes.
I mean, so the reason I bring this up is because a lot of people be like, oh, well, everything's opening up. You're back to work. But they don't understand we're really not back to work because the clubs are so far behind.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like a big rush where every comic wants to work right now.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to get back to work. There's not a whole bunch of comics that are doing the corporates and on ships and on the road. Like when you're in the city, everybody's still here in the city. Right. I did a week, like a comic week, a Thursday through Saturday, 5 shows in Richmond. And it felt like, oh my God, we are back. And it felt good. But then you come back and you're like, all right, I have 1 show next week. So it's tough. I think it's hard for people to also want to go out and be comfortable with that. There's some people that, they don't care, but they didn't care the whole time. And other people are a little more cautious about going out and seeing shows and sitting around everybody. Sunday I was at the Comic Strip
in New York City.
It was as packed as I've seen it in a long time. It was great.
Are they allowed to have full houses, Mike? Are they allowed to have full houses?
Other people are a little more cautious about going out and seeing shows and sitting around everybody.
Mike, do you see what Mike's doing? He's sabotaging me. Do you see what his technology?
I didn't. Why is it coming in late?
He's a ventriloquist.
He's dead to me. I'll bring you back in a second, Mike.
And Maureen, out here in California, it's funny. So in where we are in the South Bay, it's different. Some of the clubs are opening up at 25%, or as I used to call pre-pandemic, sold out. And but little by little, it's happening. But here's one thing I discovered. You're right. Everybody now wants to hit those clubs. There's a lot of people that have opened up and done a lot of outdoor restaurant shows that are also good. But we've also discovered new audiences via the virtual stuff that weren't going to clubs before anyway, that maybe they're older, i.e. my age, and now they actually could do something. So I think there's going to be somewhat of a hybrid model, if you will, where there's going to be an element. Maybe we'll do them instead of every week, every month, every few months online to, meet the need of those people, and then also use it to build demand as people are slowly getting more comfortable going into next year.
I think it's the thing about being virtual is that you've been able to. I have an audience that I tap into in the UK and in Ireland.
Exactly.
That's what's been really cool. The downside has been the money has not been.
Yeah, or the interactive connection that we thrive on, or that really makes our art form, more real.
Sing, soar. Well, and so Nancy, what are you seeing in terms of all of that?
Well, I'm diversified. My portfolio is diversified in that I seek work everywhere. So I just did background work on something, or I ghostwrite for people, or so it's coach. I do coaching. So I just diversify whatever it's part of my art. It's part of my world. So
Right. And I do the
Exactly.
same thing with the podcast, with writing, with corporate hosting and moderating, which is great. But it's also true, there's such a love of the stage, and there's such a sadness about how limited it is. And when people are saying, well, you're back to work, and that to comics, or like they shouldn't have pandemic support, I'm thinking, they're back to work. Comedy clubs are cutting the money in New York City from $25 a spot to $15. I mean,
oh wow.
No.
Why go out? Why?
but
You know what? Maureen, I mean, my audience is anybody who's there at this point. I'm in the grocery store. That's my audience. I'm at a dinner. They're feeding me dinner. I feel like I'm getting paid. They get the jokes. I work out my material at dinner.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to travel internationally, so I need the friggin' they got to pay me. So yeah, Billy Bingo, who's a wonderful guy, comic from Long Island, living in Florida now, says the Florida has been open to full audiences since last fall.
Since last year.
Yeah, but I don't know if they have the numbers or the congestion that we've had in New York and New Jersey. I don't know. I just know I was scared. But Nancy, I wanted to ask you something, because you said, you talk about, I know you do a lot of background work. So there's two things. I see you here with Pete Davidson. What was that?
Oh, it's very funny. I think I've played his mother 3 times on SNL. I must look like his mother. That was the hoverboard sketch, which was a very funny sketch, Maureen, because they had firemen behind me. And I go, why are these guys behind me? And they said, don't worry, we're lighting somebody on fire. And if it gets too close, we're going to yank you over the couch.
Nancy.
Wow.
That's comforting.
I was like, what? What?
Your career is on fire. Yes, that's comforting.
I had
one of the actors on fire. Yeah.
I did have another question about the work you do. I found an old photo. Actually, you shared it with me when you were on the Oprah. And
the Oprah sketch on SNL.
This was an Oprah sketch. Okay.
Yes. Yes, that's Tina Fey. There you go.
Oh.
Tina Fey.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't recognize it.
It was such a dangerous sketch that they did it in one take.
Was there a fireman behind you?
No, but there was a chair that was thrown over my head, and luckily I have great reflexes. And the actors that were on it went crazy and went after poor Maya Rudolph. They went after her, like, to be in the I was staying. I just didn't want to be hit with anything. That she said, that's it. It's a take. I'm not doing it.
Really?
It was not scary for her. Yeah. But that was yes, that was SNL too.
So another thing I want to talk about, because comedy, it's not going anywhere. I'm in for a penny, in for a pound. And like Nancy has, it's part of what I do, but it's my whole heart. I give it 1,000%, but you do it with other things. But coming out of the dark, what a great title, Maureen. When I think about, seriously, and I'm not trying to go for alliteration here, I think about the pandemic, political correctness, and politics. People are so reactive now. The cruise ships have said, do not talk about the pandemic. And I understand that, because while you might want to make jokes about how you've gotten through it, or, somebody said, hey, Maureen, why don't you let your hair go gray? And I'm like, why don't you let your teeth rot? Ha ha. Like they've lost someone. So they might be out for a night to escape the pain of all that. So you're getting up there doing a trivial joke to something that's affected over 500,000 people in our country. But then politics, forget, you can't make a Trump joke. You can't even say, how much weight do you have to gain to go to one of his rallies? You can't ask questions. You cannot do that. And then you have that, and then you can't talk politics. So it's just, some people don't talk politics, but let's just talk about political correctness and pandemic. And Jeff, let's start with you.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? You've never been a very politically incorrect comic.
No, but I have ways that, like, the whole woke thing and all that drives me. So I have something, I call it the millennial rhapsody. It goes like this. No. Oh, I'm offended. Let me post. And so everything I come down to, I'm offended. And I worked it into the humor, because that's the way the reality is. People say, oh my goodness, look at that. I said, I've had to exercise to keep my gender pronouns from becoming plural. It's like, we sat in our 2 seats on Southwest. I don't want it to go to that. So my way of commenting on things that drive me nuts, right? And you can't say anything. You're going to offend everybody, which takes away from comedy. Or you're like, come on. And I think people in general will sense your spirit, and if your soul and your spirit is mean and nasty, people will pick up on that. but it is a reality that the people have some sensitivities. What's great is that a lot of the movements or this woke concept, people are aware of things and there's discussion going on, but it doesn't mean that you now have the right answer to everything. And all the years before us, I mean, as kids, we all I grew up in New York. We marched for everything, so it's like we were aware of stuff, but we didn't have everybody has to cater to my needs just because there's an issue. No, talk about it. And that's what drives me nuts. And you'll find there's a lot of people that'll agree with that, but I don't purposely go out of my way to offend people. I'm just offensive in nature. But it's just, I try to work it in humor, right?
Right, but I've even had comics whom I love be offended if I've made, like, they read into something. Like, I can make an innocuous joke about a Hispanic actor, and they're like, you're making fun of Latinos. I'm like, no, what are you talking about?
The problem is with people who tell you how you should think, right? I won't even start on my feelings about Israel and my support for Israel, but it's almost like people were posting stuff, and I'm like, well, I've been there. I've talked to soldiers. I've talked to government people. I have family there. My family's a doctor, so I have in Israel.
Jewish doctor in Israel? All right.
It's a stretch. They're one of very few on that street. And I'm like, I don't get into discussion with it, but I'm going, there's so much garbage. I think there's elements in the media that spread a lot of garbage too, that it can incense you because it can be very influential, but it's also good to say, whoa, wait a minute. And you try to use humor, but at the same time, if I have a different perspective, I'm not going out there saying, hey, Maureen, you should believe this because of this, where I see people trying to pontificate. I
was kind of like that with people who supported Trump. I really was. I was kind of like, do you not understand, like, when you say fake media that undermines democracy, do you not understand that's a foundation of our Constitution? Yeah. I did do that. And I felt like obligated to. I felt like, where did you read that? What was your source? Do you not understand that you're not supposed to tear gas people who are peaceful protesters to hold up a Bible upside down? Do you not understand? Because I felt like people should be challenged, because when you're seeing something so wrong being done,
absolutely.
All right, put it in the bowl, blow it away. Let it go. No, good for you. Hey, Max Docelli says hello, you guys. So Nancy, you're doing something a little different because you're doing acting and other things. But Mike, I've worked with you.
Yes.
I have to say, we have fun.
Yes, of course.
Oh, but
every time.
Two times. But the thing is, with you, that kills me is you are like this likable looking guy. You're not at all offensive in your demeanor, but the shit that comes out of your mouth, particularly off stage, I can't function.
Yeah, but I don't. There's no malicious intent behind anything that I say, on stage or off stage. It's all
that's true
in good fun. And like Jeff would say, I think it's people get offended. And the ones that tell you what your intent was behind it. No, you meant this. I promise I didn't. You found something offensive, but it wasn't meant to be. And you just decided to be offended by it.
I still can't get over how many comments I got last week of what I thought was just an innocuous post. I got a ton of comments. I got private chats. I had to take it down. I had it on different platforms. This is what I said. J-Lo, she went from A-Rod to Ben Affleck, like literally, I thought it was 12 and a half minutes. So when I saw that, this is what my thinking was. This is Maureen's thinking. I thought, God, I wonder like what emotional issues she has if she's never been alone for more than 12 minutes. Like, that's really what I thought. Like, seriously, I went, it was a serious thought, and that's how I turned it into comedy. But apparently not for some people, it wasn't comedy. But I'm looking at it, I go, oh my God, wow. Like, literally, I said, did she even have time to go home and take a shower? I meant, did she even stop at her house for 3 minutes? You're calling her a slut. You're anti-Latin. Other guys are coming at me. She's a whore. She's a slut. I'm like, no, none of this is what I meant. None of it.
Right.
Well, you think you meant that, Maureen. But you have to see how it came across. I'm like, I can't handle this. I can't even make a stupid, smelly. I know what I think because I tend to think very psychologically. So I'm like, oh. And I want to know what's wrong that she couldn't stop home and change her underwear. Is that so wrong? Okay.
I would love to sit down and talk with her because she's Jenny from the block, and I spend a lot of time in the Bronx. That's all I'm going to say.
I love her. Like,
She's
I
beautiful. My
she's
God.
a superhero to me. And I think these freaking guys, how can they not get it right? Like, how do you not, I don't know. How do you not hold on? Well, I don't
I'm
know.
Ben Affleck's stunt double.
The people that get offended that you can't make fun of a celebrity or somebody like that, I don't have the patience for.
No,
I don't. Whoa. You leave them alone. No, we're not leaving them alone.
No, that's what I mean about you. That's what, no, we're not leaving them alone. That's no, that's not what's happening.
No, and again, it's not. It doesn't have to be done with vitriol and anger. You just share stuff. I have one thing. I go, hey, only in the words of Smokey the Bear, only you can prevent gender reveal party fires. Which is my way of saying, what the hell is going on with that? I'm not putting down gender reveal or whatever. I mean, what I mean, and.
These are guys who won't be in
a ridiculous thing. It's okay to have something that's ridiculous.
Exactly.
And to call it out.
Be funny. I mean, I have 12 jokes on. I went to the doctor and they aimed something at my head and I say, oh, I thought it was a Jewish space laser, Dr. Goldberg. And it turns out it was a thermometer, and which erased all the things my wife asked me to do that day. So whatever, right? And it's like
I think we all agree that 12 jokes is way too much on that.
Exactly. But that job, it's like this crap out there. We got to comment on it. And if somebody gets offended by that, no.
But do you ever get to the point, and I'm going to ask Nancy, what about you? Do you ever get to a point, I'll ask all of you this, but I get to something out there and I'm like, the backlash to something, just think I'm cracking myself up at home. I go, oh, that's funny. And then I got to deal with all this craziness. And I'm like, sometimes I don't even want to do that. I just don't.
No.
I just go, I can't even, I feel like I hold myself back because the nuts that come at you.
Yeah. I've been irreverent in my comedy for 20, 30 years. So I was getting flack way back. I used to do as a piece, Mary's version of the Immaculate Conception as done to Greensleeves.
That's awesome.
And people would come up to me after the show and say, you're going to hell. And I would say, but it's a feminist piece. It's not a religious piece. It's feminist. And my feeling is, as a comedian, writer, whatever, we're giving people far too much power. We're to judge us. We're supposed to be doing our job and doing what we think is funny and putting it out there because that's what we do from our heart. This is our love. This is our art. Nobody tells Van Gogh, stop using yellow.
Because he can't hear them. Because he can't hear them.
Yeah. Well, that's the one here. But
now you make fun of people, Maureen, and now you're getting the people that you.
Yeah, now she's going after Van Gogh. Okay, what
she's anti-here.
Going after deaf people now. Get her off. Cancel.
But the thing is that we're giving people too much power about our comedy. We're giving them too much of a say. You go, what I say, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I'll look into it, and I walk away, and that's all. I don't take it as a painful hurt. Oh, you didn't like that? I mean, I performed at a bridal shower from hell, and I kept going because all I kept doing is, I so overcharged you. I'm going to talk for 45 minutes. And so I didn't care. But stop giving them power. I got drunk people falling down during my act, falling out of chairs. I keep going because that is my job. I'm doing my job. Now, I come from, whoops, you gotten a double feedback? Hold on. Somebody's getting a double feedback.
No, we're good. Go ahead.
All right. I come from also being culturally ethnic. So now if I go to speak and I say I'm Puerto Rican and Italian, people tense up like I'm going to cut them or something. And I go into a whole other thing. But I think my feeling when you brought the show up was we are losing who we are to the audience.
Yes.
The way I learned about other cultures was through terrific comedians, Stilla and Mara, George Carlin. What I know about other people's cultures, I learned from comedians and what we have in common. And we are losing that if we give them power to judge our comedy.
Amen.
Good for you, Nancy. Okay, ding, 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 ding. I'm going to ask you guys to hold still one moment. It's a commercial time. I'm hanging with Langan. It's commercial. It's so insane. Hold on. Bear with. Oh, here I am. Okay, you guys, here's the deal. A lot of you have been asking, thank you, how you can support the show. And a big shout out to Allison and Sue and Chris and Jeannie. Really appreciate you guys. This is a couple ways that you can support the show. Please go to Apple or Spotify and review it. Only if you like it. If you don't, you're dead to me. But go to Apple Podcast, go to Spotify. Please give it a review. Sign up on my brand new website, maureenlangan.com. I just revamped it. And you'll get an email once a week about the shows coming up or when a comedy special will be released or a couple gigs. I won't spam you. Ain't nobody got time for that. But the most important way that you can support, if you will consider this, is to go to patreon.com/Maureen Langan. When you go to patreon.com, you're like, but Maureen, what is it? I'll tell you what it is. It is a place where starting at $5 a month, you will get access to all the video casts. So what happens is once we go live here on the .com, the video comes down and it goes up to Patreon, but all the audio goes to Apple and Spotify and all the major platforms. And here, like at $10 a month, you'll get like backstage bonus chats. So for example, Diane Diamond, the investigative news hound who uncovered the Michael Jackson allegations of child molestation, serious topic. But she was my former radio broadcast co-host. She is a hoot. As serious as she is, she's a hoot. And she filled in and worked a lot with Nancy Grace, and she tells me some backstage dirt. So it's stuff like that. And I'm serious about doing extra for you. And at different levels, you'll get comedy shows. I'll bring comedy buddies with me, maybe these crazy kids. So you can do all that at the different levels. Coaching, whatever you want. We're there for you, Maureen Langan. So please consider that. Or I'm going to get a one-eyed blind dog and sit at a street corner with a cup. Because you people, if you bring a dog with 3 legs and 1 eye, everybody's like, oh, I love your dog. And there's one other way, because you're like, but Maureen, I really want to give you a lot of money at once. I know. You can go to Venmo or PayPal at Mo Langan. Venmo or PayPal at Mo Langan. And I am most appreciative. And of course, get your Don't Make Me Hate You t-shirt at maureenlangan.com. I have a lot. I got masks. I got all this Don't Make Me Hate You, because you're all about love. You don't want to hate people. They make you hate them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back my guests, and we're going to take your questions if you are so inclined. I would love, this is StreamYard. So what I'm able to do is bring some of you on, either your audio or your camera. You can decide. If you have a question or a comment, I would love to hear from Eddie Clark, wonderful comedian, Dana Friedman, and all of you watching. There's room for a few of you to come on and join in. And Dana, thank you for telling me how to say Myanmar. But at least I'm not going up telling people we should have a coup in our country, no matter. That's why I call it Burma. A lot easier. Freaking Burma. It's going to stay Burma. It's always Burma. Because I'm not mocking the guy. I am mocking the guy for saying mini mart or Walmart. But anyway. All right. So let's see who we have here. People are coming on. Julie, did you have a comment? If you did, we're going to you're off your camera. Let's see how this works, you guys. Let's go. There's Julie. Did you have a comment? All right, that worked out really well. Julie.
Here she comes.
Nope, no comment. I'm just listening.
Oh, all right. Okay. See, Julie,
Thank
when
you.
people are in here in the StreamYard, it means they have a comment. All right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm picking. Okay, see, you just took the good out of it, Julie. When
I
they
think she was at my show.
You guys, if you click it on the stream, that means you have a comment. So you can do a written comment in the sidebar here. You could do a verbal question to us, or you can come online with us and we'll see your face. That's what we got going here. Myanmar, Dana is telling us. It's Myanmar.
Myanmar shadow.
Why can't we be more like Hamas, Michael Flynn? Why can't we be more like Hezbollah? Why can't we be more like the IRA? Why can't we?
What? The IRA.
What's this crap?
They have marketing, that's for sure.
Jeez Louise. So, all right. I want to ask you guys what you have going on. Mike, I'm very happy for you. You got your dry bar special out.
I did. It's been out for a little while. It was great. You did it. I mean, it's such a great taping, and you don't know what to expect from the audience in Utah, really, especially when they say clean, and then they're like, but we have Provo, Utah clean. And you're like, oh no. But somehow it worked out. I mean, smoke and mirrors, whatever. the audience ended up being great. They were outstanding both shows.
But for those who don't know, Dry Bar Comedy, it's a platform that puts on a ton of comics. They tape our specials, but we have to go to Utah and perform in front of mostly Mormons. And it has to be a clean show. And I'll talk to Jeff about that in a minute. So how did you find them? Did you find that you had to change a lot of your material, Mike? Or did you find that...
I tweaked some stuff. I did some old stuff that I wanted recorded, but it was also clean. My son, who's a teen in that show, was very young because he was clean when he was young. And so he unaged in that one. But they were also bits that I wanted videoed. I wanted taped and stuff like that. The audience was also fun to play with. It was one where you wanted to do a show where the gloves were off, but you knew keep those gloves on. And it was a constant, but I ran that set a lot too. That was the hard part, was running that set in Staten Island, completely clean set for Staten Island. And you're going, oh, so I would do that 40 to 45.
Wow.
And then like my last 10 or 15, I would go, I'm just going to go a little bit extra. And I would do jokes that I just knew they would love, just a little heavier, a little dirtier, whatever.
Yeah.
Edgier, whatever the word is. But it takes time to get that set exactly right and not let it go off the rails.
Billy Bingo just said his nephews have been 3, 5, and 9 for the past 20 years.
Yeah, exactly right.
I'm going to ask you about it, Jeff, too. I did Dry Bar
together
February 12th. Jeff and I were on the same weekend, different nights.
Oh, okay.
And we did it literally a month before shutdown. A month before shutdown. And I'm so grateful it happened then because now it's coming out in a month. It'll be out. So it's just coming out when it's a really nice time for people to start booking again and wanting to see comedy. But I did my taping, and I'll tell you after I hear from Jeff. But I got done and I went over because there's like one place to find some wine. And there's Jeff and I. I'm like, oh my God. He's like, I'm doing it tomorrow night. I go, I didn't know. So we hung out. And how did you feel yours went, Jeff?
It was fun. It was great. No, it was great seeing you there. So it was like 2 New Yorkers in Provo, Utah. It was beautiful. And the audience was gracious. I had some friends that lived in like, what's it, Jackson Hole? Is it? No, that's Wyoming.
We'll go with it. We'll just
Park City. That's the one.
Sure.
They came down. So people, and they were gracious. The quality was wonderful. They treated us well. And they really have it over the last 6-7 years of science of really taking clips and putting it out there and seeding it properly. And Mike, I'm sure you've seen a lot of work come from that or visibility. And it was really great. So they enjoyed it. And I didn't have to change much of myself. I've pushed to work relatively clean from the beginning. So it was more change things around. And I mean, even simple things like I was talking about my kids. And I said, I have 3 kids. And I look at the audience, I go, I know, amateur. And then it was like applause break because they appreciated that. But they were gracious. I'm looking forward to, I saw went through the edits with them and it's quality. And I was honored. And like I said, having you there, Maureen, it was great that we shared that experience. You came off stage, told me how it went, and it was great. It was wonderful.
Well, I was nervous when I was asked to do it. I said, do I really want to do this? And I'm not vulgar, but every now and then you want to go, what the fuck, because I get angry. I want to go, what the fuck is going on? Like, I like to get my rage out on stage. It's legitimate rage, which is why I don't wipe out a village in everyday life. Oh, Mike Burton again. So, it's not me. Poor Mike. He's like, no, I swear.
I don't think it is.
All right. Okay, be that way. So when I did Dry Bar, and you guys, please, go to Dry Bar Comedy and follow Mike Burton there. Download his special, because then every time you do, that's how we make a few pennies. Because every hit you get, you make just a few bucks here or there. Right. So go to that. Jeff and I will be on that site, drybarcomedy.com soon. When I got asked to do it, I almost said no. I said, do I really want to do this? Because you get to a point in comedy, you don't want to be everything to everyone. But I didn't realize what it was. I didn't know what Dry Bar Comedy was. So you also realize that I'm really not dirty. It's just the rage and sometimes cursing in between the anger of things that I'm really. So it wasn't hard for me to there's just one place when Stephen Hawking left his wife. I mean, the men who can't move are leaving women. I want to go, you want to leave me, you better be able to move, and you better move fucking fast because it's alliteration and I love the anger of it. So I choose that, but I couldn't choose that. And I can't make fun of askew people. So you can't askew, you get sloppy lopsided. So like, well, I love it. This looks like it fell off a Ferris wheel. So, and I use that to set up, and I love it, such an outdated reference, but it just came to me when I was doing it and they left it in. But what they took out, what was interesting to me is you can be edgy, but you can't say, oh my God, and you can't say damn. And the thing is, if you do say those things, they're not going to tell you not to, but then you get warning signs next to your special that you said DA/DAM. And so the M is slash, that'll say a blasphemy next to it if you say, oh my God. So no joke. So you can say those things, but then you'll have fewer hits and people watching your special.
It's true. I had 13.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. I had 13 of those things. Whatever that is, I had 13 of them. And I felt really bad till I saw Dennis Regan had like 11. And I was like, well, Dennis Regan's like the cleanest guy ever. All right, we're good. But of course, other comics were hammering me. 13. What are you doing, you filthy? And
filthy animal.
Yeah, and there's some guys that only have 3 or 5 or whatever. But I mean, I have no idea what they.
Oh my God! Damn, that is effing crazy. No, but like, so one time I almost said, "Oh my God!" I went, "Oh my goodness gracious me," because you can't. Then they said to me, "We're going to get to Eddie in a minute." They said to me, I say that Martha Stewart during not before the pandemic, I said stitch and bitch societies are popping up all across America because there's a resurgence in knitting and quilting, stitch and bitch societies. So afterwards, they were so nice. They said, would you consider changing bitch to snitch? And I said, but you have muscle memory when you're a comedian, like your bits, they're like, you're dancing with your own music and your own rhythms. So it breaks your rhythm. Yep. I said, stitch and snitch, stitch and snitch, stitch a snitch, sniff a snatch. What am I doing? What do you want me to do?
That's how it works.
So I did, and I didn't use the joke at all. But one thing they cut that surprised me is I tell the young girls, because my Irish mother told me, develop your brain when I was growing up. And I say, she should have told me, dance with poles while you still have the body to do so. And I hold up the mic stand and say, this is your path to success, girls, not this. They cut the first cut, they left it in. And then when I had minor tweaks, they cut it out. And they said, it's not in keeping with our brand. I'm like, but you had it in the first edit. But I didn't. I said, listen, let's keep it in your brand. Let more people download it. Let me make money. Whatever. What's your brand? I'll do it. What's the friggin' brand?
Yeah.
Dancing with Poles was a Polish guy. You have to.
So listen, we have a friend popping in. He is a police officer, retired, he's been a comedian for many years. He's co-hosted Hanging with Langan on KGO Radio with me a couple times. Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Clark.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey, what's up?
Let's get straight to the soup and nuts right up the top. Nancy, absolutely brilliant what you said. Perfect definition of what our job is supposed to be. Jeff, up front, the first comments, right on point. Mike, I have no idea what the hell you're doing. But you know what? You're right about one thing. It's this, even with cruise ships, because a lot of you guys know a lot of people know I work on cruise ships a lot. I've already gotten the list of what not to do. Yeah. I haven't even. Yeah. My first gig is not until July 15th, and I've already gotten a list. Basically, they're telling me, you know, the material you did when you were here last time and everything, keep that. Well, I've been writing for the last damn year. Right? Would you mind? You know what I'm saying? Would you mind if I just take a shot? I understand 5 or 6 people may say, but that's all. If you guys work cruise ships, you know, all it takes is 5 or 6 people to write down they didn't like you, and suddenly, you know, you got problems. Right. But me, I'm ready to take that shot. I don't care, especially when they do the adult shows. Hey, look, you know, what they keep telling people, if you're easily offended, but now all of a sudden the pandemic, you know, in no way can you talk about the pandemic. And I have a problem with that.
Right. You know what's interesting? I want to give a plug to a fellow who's on my show. The show's going to drop this week. Jim David, a comedian friend of all of ours. Jim David, you guys, when you go to Hanging with Langan to Apple, Spotify, download it, or Patreon, he taped his special literally the last cruise before the pandemic. They were going transatlantic. The pandemic had just been underway. On cruise ships, you're not supposed to curse. You're supposed to be everything to everyone. Barney the dinosaur for the kids. Don't upset the grandmas. Have enough night stuff to make the edgy people happy. This guy gets up there. You're not supposed to talk politics. He goes after every freaking thing. He curses. He's sexual, and he's freaking hysterical. So you're going to have to download Jim David. His special is called Gay Jokes for Straight Cruisers. It's fun tour,
great.
you know?
That's great.
Yeah, catch him while you can. He won't be around long. The new rules there. It's
I want
crazy.
a cruise, yeah.
It's crazy what's
Don't
going on.
wanna
I
get
got a
caught
funny
overboard,
feeling I'm never
right?
going to survive the month. I don't think I'm going to survive the month. I really don't. You know? And that's just being real. But I've gotten to like Uber. So, I mean, you know.
Ed, are they still doing buffets on the cruises? That's what I'm wondering.
Actually, no. What they've done is, and even now when you go back, they have the cast members that were on the that were doing the shows and whatnot.
Right.
They're the ones dishing your food. So the person that just got finished doing West Side Story, they're doing it to da 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 da.
When you're a jet. More rice? Yes.
Do you remember more rice? When you're more rice? So,
That's funny.
Arroz.
but do you remember what were those things like my father would talk about growing up? They had like the automated, like you get the sandwich.
Oh, the automat, yeah.
Automat.
Hard down on 42nd Street.
Horn and Harder.
City, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that as it was
everywhere
yesterday.
in New York too.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Middle of the window.
Eddie, I'm really glad you popped in. You know I adore you. Will you come back after your cruise ship? Let us know how it goes. Take notes. Give us the dirt.
Like I said, it'll actually just be a story of how I managed to get fired. You know, 'cause by the way, if you guys are going on, you might want to know this. They're quarantining you for the first 2 weeks you're on the ship.
Oh no!
They want everybody on for a month at a time. Now, for people like Sheila Kay, that'll be fine because she never wants to get off anyway. Yeah, I love Sheila. She'll never get off the thing. But it's like, it's a month at a time. The first 2 weeks you're quarantined, and during that time you leave your cabin, you go to your show, you come back. You're not allowed to go to the gym or anything like that. They bring you your food, they bring you water, whatever. But you have a balcony. So if you can't take it, you can always just go Papillon and just,
Eddie, really glad you jumped in. We're winding up the show, but really appreciate it. All the best.
No problem, guys. Mike, I love you, man.
Mwah. So I want to give you guys an opportunity. Nancy, why don't you shout out what you're up to, all the stuff you're doing? I have it up there. I should have shown this. Forgive me. Go ahead. Talk about it, sister.
Oh, as I said, I diversified. So one of the things I wanted to do is I put together a book of what I've been coaching. I've been coaching teens and adults on how to get jobs, on how to present yourself better for business, whatever. I've been coaching individuals. So I said, let me put it in a small book. So that's what I did. So I wrote a small book during COVID just because I said I'm going to accomplish something during this negative period that will be positive for other people.
And it's called Pocketful of Confidence, and it's on Amazon, Pocketful of Confidence.
Yes, self-help for the confidence challenged.
Awesome.
But anyway, so that was the positive thing. And then just because you need merch, CD baby.
What's the easiest way for people to connect with you? Because you have so much going on. Can you just narrow it down to
They
one?
can message me on Facebook if they want to connect with me, or comedians that I know, like I love. I love these guys. If you guys have something big to promote, like something come out, just message me and say, Nancy, can you announce it on your show? And I'll announce it. It's no problem. Just, I love Mike. I actually was in the audience when Mike was doing warm-up comedy, and he was picking on me. He kept picking on me and saying there's a comedian in the audience. And I'm like, uh-oh, nobody knows that. I'm here for the $30.
Nancy, audience. Oh, my God.
Yes, so you can go to comedyconcepts.com or Facebook, Instagram. My radio show's What's the Buzz New York. My television show is The Nancy Lombardo Show every Friday at 7 p.m. On MNN worldwide on the internet. And I just keep putting it out there, guys. And it's great that you all have such positive energy and such. But again, I want to say that maybe it's the Puerto Rican Italian in me. Our job is to do what we think is funny.
Good for you. And Facebook is what? What's the Buzz NY?
No, you can, yeah.
Oh.
What's the Buzz New York? What's the Buzz New York? NY. You can go to
NY.
Facebook and follow me there. But guys, if you have something to promote, just message me or say, Nancy, can you mention this? And I'll do it.
Thank you, Nancy.
She's a very generous woman. Thanks, Nancy. We'll see you again soon. Mwah. All right. So Applebaum,
That's me.
what do you want to promote?
They can go to my website, jeffapplebaum.com. And it's JEFFAPPLE. The first word you learn how to spell, B as in boy, AUM as in Mary.com. So we've been doing, my buddy Patrick McDermott and I have been doing a regular, it's called the Relatively Happy Hour. We've done all year. It's been great. And we had Wendy Liebman was on. She runs a note. She goes, "How long is the show?" She's brilliant. I love it. And we've had great comedians on, and we're doing them probably a little less frequently now. But next one is on the 12th. I think we have Colin Moulton on. I have my schedule there for my live shows. They can reach me there on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm jeff.applebaum. But jeffapplebaum.com is all things there. Our dry bar special that'll come out, I'll have a link to it there. I have a link for my Late Late Show with Ferguson on there, and also do my. You had to show that picture. That was right before he put something in my drink. So that's a
picture of Jeff for those who will be listening on the
that
audio
picture has
podcast.
been removed from Facebook a long time ago.
With O.J. Simpson. It's with his buddy O.J. Simpson. Jeff.
That was
Applebaum.
2010.
O.J.
All the Drek
Simpson.
and the Surus went down. That was for you, Dana Friedman.
And the sweatshirt says "Hello, friend."
Please take that picture off. That picture is not visible on Facebook anymore. And that is okay. I'm gonna get you.
I feel like I can't be myself. Jeff, I love you. Thanks for being
you
here.
too.
And when the dry
Great
bar
to see you
comes
again.
out-
Mike and I did a show together a few months ago. I'm glad to see him again too. So
Good to see you, man.
yes.
And of course, I'm going to go out with one of Mike's clips. I appreciate all of you guys watching, and just get a "Don't Make Me Hate You" t-shirt at Maureen Langan. I want you to go see maureenlangan.com. Go check out the new website. I'm doing a lot of corporate hosting. I'm broadcast coaching, media training, because, as a broadcaster for 20 years, you get these CEOs or faculty at universities, which I've coached these people. They get opportunities, they have the knowledge, but they don't know how to relate it when they finally have that opportunity. And I can help you because I help people. And Patreon, I'm sorry, one more thing. Patreon.com, please subscribe. $5 a month, you guys, or 10 or 1,000. It's up to you. But that's really the place that keeps the shows going. And of course, you can always make a little, if you're so inclined, a little tip in the bucket at PayPal or Venmo at Mo Langan, because these guys charge a lot of money to come to my show. Mike, I'm going to go out with your clip again from Dry Bar, because I want people to go there and support you and see your full comedy special.
Okay.
Because this is how Mike too makes a living. We're in a pandemic. See his special. It's worth everything. What do they subscribe? How do they they go to drybarcomedy.com?
I think you download it. If you want to watch the whole thing, I think it's $1. I think if you want to own it, it's $10. Like if you want to, but if you just watch it, it's $1. It's an entire $1.
You want to own Mike? You can own Mike for 10.
You can own him for 10. You can rent him for $1.
It's called drybarcomedy.com. And I'm going to let you see a clip of it so you see it's really worth it. Dry Bar Comedy. There's an app. There's an app for everything.com. So get the app on your phone and watch his special. He's very funny. And there you go. So, Mike, you're welcome. Listen, I'm going to go out on your clip, and I really appreciate that you came and hung out with me today.
I really appreciate it. My technology sucks, but I had a great time.
Listen, we're all doing the best we can. I hope we're back at the Borgata in Atlantic City together soon.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be great?
Anytime. Anytime. Let's go.
Good time. By the way, my book is wide open in case there's the 3 gigs you can't do if they fall out for you. It's such a nightmare, you guys. All right, so here it is. This is a clip of Mike Burton on his Dry Bar special. Next week, I want to let you guys know I have Dr. Jerome Potoskin, Botox and Beyond. He's going to talk about what's new and how to avoid disaster. I had a hole in the side of my nose, and my mother told me it was because I had the chicken pox when I was a kid. It's just the chicken pox. You picked the chicken pox, and now you have a hole in your nose. So I'm like, well, why is the hole in my nose growing constantly? And why do I have to tell people I had a nose ring? Because I had a hole in my nose. So he's fix the hole in my nose. He's like, Maureen, it's not the chicken pox. It's this thing that grows in some people as they age, and we could stop that. I go, thank you. I just pictured this hole in my face. My mom, this Irish, you're fine. You know, Mom, my arm's broken. Just put some mud on it and stop making a fuss. All right, so that's what I grew up with. So here's Mike Burton, you guys, and go check out all the shows on Hanging with Langan. Alan's White Bell, original Saturday Night Live writer, a lot of good Jim David, gay jokes for straight cruisers. It's hysterical. All right, you're going to get an extra treat here with Mike Burton. Here you go.
My wife helps me on stuff that I don't want help on at all. Right? Like, I don't like winter. Like, I don't like winter. Like, I hate winter. Like, I'm originally from North Carolina, and like, look, right now, you guys are having beautiful weather, and thank you for doing that, okay? I love it. Like, I hate winter so much, I'm for global warming. I am voting for it, marching for it. I might start buying people SUVs. I don't care. Ladies, start using hairspray again. No ozone. That's our goal. You know what's nice? 70 degrees in February. That's nice. Ah. And see, there's people with me, but there's always a couple of crunchy granolas sitting around. The crunchy granolas sitting there thinking, but the polar ice caps are going to melt and we're all going to flood. No, we're not. We're not all going to flood. We're only losing Rhode Island, Long Island, and Jersey. Bye-bye.
That is Mike Burton, you guys. And until we meet again, bye, wig. Mwah.